is the Diary of a Lady Band Director podcast, brought to you by the Passion Is Network.
Hello. Welcome back. If you are tuning in, I want you to go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button, share it on your social media. It is us, the Diary of the Lady Band Director, episode 4, part 2, because we had to run it back a little bit. We were not able to get Miss Juliet Boykins on the last situation, but you know what? The table is always set for us with the Diary of a Lady Band Director, so we had to hit a recap and pull in the renowned Juliet Boykins. Let's give her a round of applause. And just a little bit, I've actually been on a panel with you, and I was like, I was a little starstruck. I was like, this is the Juliet Boykins at Elizabeth, currently at Director of Bands at Elizabeth City State University. Am I correct? And you spent some time at IC Norcom. And just to give you a little 6 degrees, I don't even call it 6 degrees. It's like 3 degrees of separation. My neighbor is Kevin Davenport. He lives at the end of the block. So I'm very familiar with the land of North Carolina, and my band director was Roosevelt Pratt, my very first one. So, my family's from North Carolina. I'm not from Baltimore. My family is from the North South. I know, the people below the Carolinas don't claim us, but I'm going to say I'm a Southern girl. I know how to cook, and I got elbow fat to prove it. So, without further ado, Juliet Boykins, if you can unmute and just share a little bit about yourself and your career.
Thank you for having me here. And I'm sorry I missed the last one, but I'm glad to be here today. This is going on my, let me get it right, 27th year of teaching. I've had a pretty interesting career. Taught high school. I've taught just about everything: high school, elementary, middle school, and college. But I did it on purpose because my goal used to be I wanted to be a music supervisor of a city, of my city specifically. I wanted to be in Portsmouth. But then I've changed that lately to I kind of like where I am, being a head band director of a college. And I want to pursue going further in the college career and see where I can go. Student affairs, somewhere around there. I kind of like it.
That is awesome. I thought I wanted to be in administration until I realized what it's all entailed. And then I hit that no daddy and deterred from that degree and went straight into curriculum and instruction. And I haven't looked back. I could write curriculum from my house. So I know the Grammys on, and I know people going to want to see the Grammys. Everybody waiting for another slap. Guess what? It ain't happening. Right. It ain't happening. But I want to start with the questions just to respect your time and keep this ball moving. Mm-hmm. So the first question, what is it like a day in the life of the Juliet Boykins, just as the head director of bands at a large university?
Well, it kind of depends on the day. And I say that because I'm also the program coordinator of our department. So it kind of depends on the day. So if you're talking like uh, a Monday, I teach a general music class. Then I go to rehearsal at around 5, and we have fun. Rehearsals are fun. That's how you got to say it. Um, I don't know. You want me to be more specific? Like, do you mean marching band, concert band?
Oh, you can do the whole fall into the spring,
Ooh.
like what are you doing currently? What were you doing in the fall? Because we just came out of a pandemic. So,
Right. And we were shut down for 2 years. So we had virtual online classes for a performing arts degree was very, very difficult. And I don't know. I didn't like it at all. So we were so glad to get back. Um, so, on a collegiate level, our schedule's different from those of a public school. So my day starts late. So that's why I said it all depends. So on Mondays, I do teach a general ed class. So, I mean, a general class, music appreciation. So I probably get to work about 11 o'clock because I have a 12 o'clock class, but then I don't have band practice until 5. I have all of my applieds meet on Wednesdays and Thursdays because I don't like Fridays. I do nothing on Fridays. I don't even like when I have meetings on Fridays. Tuesdays are my basically an open day until band practice. So I get there before band practice time. Unless I have a meeting, I'm not coming to work until about 5 o'clock. That's why I said it's a little different from public school. So it makes it sound like I got an easy job, but it's not easy at all because I still got all these meetings in between. Don't make that face. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't make the face. It sounds like it's just a gravy job, but it's not. We have all these other meetings in between. I stay on Zoom a lot because we still don't have a lot of face-to-face meetings because the Zooms are just more convenient. If we have face-to-face meetings, they're usually probably not going to be for the good of someone, but we try to do everything on Zoom. So that's basically my day. It's just a very quick day. Band practices are during concert season. We stay no longer than 2 hours because I don't like long rehearsals. So even in marching band season, and we grow. I want people to understand that when you have those long rehearsals, you're inconveniencing yourself and you are just boring the kids because they're going to get distracted. So I try to make sure that our rehearsals are. I use my public school skills of lesson plans of minute by minute. So every minute is accounted for. They know that if we're in the middle of a song and I said I was going to be done with that song at 3:45 or 5:45, we're done with that song at 5:45. It doesn't matter where I am. I got to put it away. I'll mark it and we'll come back to it. But yeah, we're done with it then.
So what I hear is efficiency.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I hear, efficiency. I'm not knocking the showing up at 11 for the 12 o'clock. I'm in love with that because I do not have a typical day. Most of the time, the earliest my day will start is at 11 o'clock. And the one person that has a Friday lesson, that's their only day off. So I'm all about, like my phone now decides to blow up, but I'm very efficient. At least I try to be very efficient with what I do because I don't want to waste people's time and I don't want to waste people's dime. These people are trusting me with their children to help them kind of unleash what's already inside of themselves through music. So I don't want to take anybody's time and dime for granted. I want to make sure they're getting the bang for their buck.
That's right. That's right. I agree.
Do you find that your experiences teaching, high school have helped you teach in college?
Absolutely. And sometimes I say that's the difference between me and a lot of other people that are on a collegiate level, because, in high school, you learn to nurture the kids and you learn to be more respectful of their time. You learn to be more respectful of their parents, and you want to reach out to their parents, even though it's illegal on a collegiate level. But you try to get the students to say, well, as a parent, I think your parent would not be pleased with this. And because I taught public school, it makes it a lot easier to relate to them on that level. And I always say that that's the difference between me and, some of my coworkers and some of my peers.
It's interesting you say that because I find it's more common for women to teach all levels because we have to climb up. Like I rarely see a woman band director that kind of gets like a top gig out the gate. We always kind of start with I call it the music on the cart, elementary babies, and they're so cute, but that it wasn't my ministry. But that's just kind of where we get sometimes placed in. But all that experience adds. I wholeheartedly agree with you. um it just adds to your toolbox. That's why I started a whole Facebook group called the Toolbox, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes you a better teacher.
And I want to add this. I don't know if we want to start at that lower level, or are we placed there out of fear because of mentors? Like we don't see people that look like us, so we don't know that it's okay to jump to that top level. But now that I try to take any kids that I see now that are interested in music that look like me. I want them. You can go straight to the top. Men do it all the time. Go for that big job, but we're afraid to go for it because we didn't see anybody. Like I wanted to be a high school band director, and I had never seen a female high school band director. I'm 50, so I had never seen it. And when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'm glad I've been there, done that. I'm not the only one there. I can say that, but I hadn't seen it in my area. I was the only one in my area forever. And yeah, I think that we are placed there because we put ourselves there out of fear.
I will say, like, I've never taught like elementary school or middle school. Like, I went straight to teaching high school, and then when I'm done with this DMA, to college. But I will say that, like, the advice that I got before I graduated was definitely like, yeah, go teach elementary and go teach like middle school. And like, I love the babies, I really do, but that's definitely not my calling. Like, I just can't smile that much during the day. Like, my cheeks be hurting and stuff. But it is true. I think a lot of us are pushed into like, these like lower nurturing, not really lower, but like lower meaning age group, into these like nurturing type positions, whether or not that's your personality. Like, I'm not a little kid person. Like, I like little kids, and like I have nieces and nephews and I love them all, but I work better with older people, but people that were advising me were like, nope, you're a girl. Go teach
Elementary, right?
Yeah. And then, like, especially since my husband's a band director too, it was always well, when you have a baby, then you can go down and teach middle school. And I'm like, no.
But do you know? Because I said I hadn't seen a female. Excuse me. My first job was a high school job, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time to get that job. But I stayed there 3 years. When my husband proposed to me, I went down to a middle school because I wanted to have babies. Now, I had never seen a female band director, so I didn't know. I had never been pregnant, so I didn't know how to do any of that. I didn't have a mentor to talk to, but I did a session for WBDI right before this one earlier today. I did a session with them, and that was one of the things that I was talking about, that we find mentors, but we're placed with mentors that don't really understand, because if they don't look like us, they don't know that if we say we have cramps, can I say that up there? If we say we have cramps, they don't know what that means. They're going to say, well, that's TMI, but you're my mentor. You're supposed to help me through that. I'm supposed to be able to talk to you about that. So being personal is part of being a mentor. But when we want to have babies, we can't just tell our mentor. We're scared to tell people that we're pregnant, and that shouldn't be something we're embarrassed about, especially if we're happy about it. But we're embarrassed to tell people we're pregnant because we think that they're going to think we're either not able to do our job, or we think we can't do our job because we can't be successful because they're going to fire us, or they're going to say whatever if they see we pregnant. And it's sad that we still feel that way. So I'm trying to make it my goal to help younger ones know that have your baby in high school. You can do it. You got band parents that's going to help you. But we didn't know that. I didn't know that. And now that I know that, I want them to know band parents going to help you. They love babies. They'll babysit. They'll get off work early to come get the baby so you can finish for the game, as long as their kids look nice.
You are preaching to the choir, because when I had my son, band practice, daycare, they have those egregious hours. Like, if you're late, it's like $5 a minute.
Right.
I mean, it's just so much. And there's an expectation that, like, when men have kids, that wife is going to take care of those kids if they're a band director. And I'm going to be honest, and that's not, knocking my husband and his help, but the baby was on me and the program was on me. And so I had to learn how to march around the campus with the baby on my neck. tied to my back. And, you know, I did that up until right before the pandemic. My son, he only knows my band room after school. And band parents would go get him from daycare. They were like, I know you got the band. And they would go get my baby and they would watch him. And he became like, I used to say, he would say, oh, those are all my brothers and sisters. See, he's an only child. And he started looking at band members like, those are my big brothers and sisters. And they were watching. Like if I had to go to the bathroom or go set up something, oh, we got him. And they became the extended part of that family. And I guess this is a good segue to the next question, as far as maintaining, you know, your job and doing a good job with sometimes all that going on. So I don't know. Go ahead, chime in, Takenya.
All right, I can definitely see where my personality is better suited definitely for an elementary level, because I don't care how old I get, the kid is always here. I had the wonderful opportunity to meet some of my online students that I've been teaching for 2 years. I've never met them in person, but they had a meetup in Dallas. And they were at this restaurant, and I wasn't sure if I should sit at the kids' table or with the adults, because I was like, wait a minute, but the kids are over here. This is where I want to go. So elementary definitely suited me, and it is not for everybody at all. It's not for everybody. But I can relate again as far as like being a parent for the first time and being an educator and having to tell my principal, hey, I am with child. I have a little one on the way. And the response I received wasn't one of support. So my question is, how were you able to maintain excellence in any of the positions that you previously held when you were faced with some type of pushback? How were you able to maintain excellence, especially more so in your current position or any position you'd like to share about?
Well, my current position, my kids grown. They actually transferred from their colleges to the college where I am. So I don't have any, any family things there. I think the family done came to me. But when I was pregnant with my daughter, first of all, when I was pregnant with my son, I didn't even tell them that I was pregnant. The good thing, the good Lord blessed me to where I didn't show I was pregnant to probably about 8 or 9 months. So I was wearing the same clothes and I didn't tell anyone. And then it was like, oh, I got to go out on maternity leave. They was like, why? And I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. And so they found out as I was going out on maternity leave. The second time I was pregnant with my daughter, now I had difficulty where she was laying on my pelvic bone and I needed to sit down. So I had a principal that was just not the most caring principal. And so my doctor said, look, she got to stand up all this time. She's going to have to sit down because it's going to make her go into early labor. She says, you will stand up. I laughed and sat down. So needless to say, at the end of that year, I was like, God, you got to bless me another job. I got to get out of here. So I applied. That's when I applied for Norcom High School. So I applied for that job. I got the job and I told her that I wanted to not sign my contract to return. And she said, I'm not releasing you. And I laughed again. You hear people say that the principal has the right to say that they're not releasing you, and you're supposed to stay. Who gonna make me stay on a job I don't want to be in? I never understood that. So, I still left. I told Norcom, the HR in Portsmouth, that, that challenging thing. And they said, we'll handle it and call HR. And so they handled it. And I just went and signed my papers and worked at Norcom. When you were talking about how your husband had the baby, so it was a little different for us. My daughter was 1 and my son was 3 when I transferred to Norcom, when I actually got a high school position. I never brought my daughter around the band until she was 5. My husband and my mom actually retired so she could keep my kids after school. So she would go pick them up and make sure she didn't. She did retire, but then she went back once my son was of age to go to school so she could be in the same school as him. And she could make sure that my kids were taken care of. And her best friend stopped working to keep my daughter. It was a village. it was a village because I was just too nervous about taking a high school position. But my mom was so excited about me taking the high school position in the hometown that we grew up in that she just rearranged her life to make sure that it could happen. So I can't recall any real pushback other than the one principal telling me that I needed to stand up when the doctor said I need to sit down. So that was my own. I've been blessed in that area, I think.
That's kind of amazing. Like I ran into a little bit of the same thing with a principal that was just egregious, and unfortunately, it was another sister, and she
Wow.
just kind of was like, I had the all day sickness, not the morning sickness, but the kind that they don't tell you that you
Mm-hmm.
just can't eat nothing for 9 months. I couldn't eat nothing. They even put me on medication, and she gave me lunch duty,
Oh
and we all
wow.
know what that cafeteria smell like
Right.
on a regular basis, and it just kind of made me sick. And I had one day, I kid you not, I threw up all over myself trying to adhere to the job. And I went to my classroom. I was one embarrassed, like that's
Mm-hmm.
not how you want your students to see you. And she came to me and she said, pregnant women get sick all the time. And I said, my doctor said, this is going to trigger me being sick just because I am all day sick. And she was like, well, pregnant women get sick all the time. And then she wanted me to fly to a conference. And she was like, it's your professional responsibility. I was like, I'm almost 9 months pregnant. If I go into labor in Florida, I'm stuck there for 6 to 8 weeks. No one's going to allow me
Mm-mm-mm.
on a plane. I don't have my husband. I don't have my family. And it's just sad that that's why a lot of band directors, in my opinion, the higher they climb, they don't have kids. They
Right.
literally make that sacrifice and they make that decision. They say, I can't have kids. And when I had my first son, I threw out the idea of being a high school band director. It just happened to fell in my lap when he was about a year and a half. Whereas the high school down the street, he wanted to retire. He said, do you want to take my job? And I really sat on the fence. I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know how. I've never seen us do this with
Right.
kids.
Right. Right. Right.
Even my husband's band director, she doesn't have kids. I
Mhm.
really, at that age, during that time, I'd never seen a woman do it with kids.
I agree. I
You
agree.
know,
And I'm just finding all this stuff out. And since I'm doing this dissertation, I read all these mentor papers and stuff, and I just can't believe that no one sees fit for us to have a mentor that looks like us. But I guess it's kind of hard to pair us with someone if there are none in our area. So it's stuff like this that you're doing that's gonna help somebody else help somebody else.
Yeah, 'cause
hopefully too, people will get better at accommodations. That's actually my research is accommodations for um, ensemble conductors that have some sort of different ability. And a lot of times pregnancy falls into that area. So I'm glad that you all are talking about that because that is something that definitely does need to be addressed. And also, like, your career shouldn't stop you from having a full life, whatever that means for you. If it means no kids, great. If it means kids, also great. But your career should not stop that. And how dare principals? Krystal, she actually told you to get on a plane 9 months pregnant. Mm, wow. Yeah, not okay.
I'm really flabbergasted, and at the same time, I'm not that surprised because I don't understand why is there no accommodation? People been birthing babies since civilization began, since the dawn of time, and it's not nothing new. But at the same time, there's a certain level of care that goes with taking care every time that goes with making sure you're in your best health possible so
Mhm.
you can take care of the things that you're bringing into this world. It's just not fair. Even because when I was pregnant with my, which one of y'all was it? Third, I'm looking at my kid. When I was pregnant with my third kid, even the Army, I was an Army reservist and a public school music teacher. Even the Army is like, all right, you're at such and such weeks. Now it's time for you to just sit down and we'll take care of the rest. Now, even the Army tells us, sit down, take care of yourself. But we can't get that same rapport from another woman who looks like us. And that's every time there's been like some headbutting going on, I gotta say most of the headbutting has come back from women who look like me. And I think it comes from I'm not trying to come for their job. I don't want to be the principal. I just want to be able to safely have my child. And every time I had a kid, I lost so much money. Every time I had a child, I lost money. Can we talk about that? Because men don't have to deal with that, as far as I know.
Absolutely. That's true. I don't even have to. Was it, you want me to answer a question, or you want me to just?
Listen, the way this is going, we gonna let you flow, because you knocking on those topics that that's what this platform is about. This is stuff that, to be honest, some of our male counterparts, they don't know. They don't know.
Right.
This is why you don't see a lot of women doing it. If you had to figure out daycare ends at 4 and band practice started at 3, and you got to figure out how to be in 2 places at once. It's hard out there. And there are men that do it. I have a friend who has, a couple of daughters, and the babies be with him. But it's just a different step. That money loss is real.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would say this. So the principal that I had at the middle school, she didn't look like me. So I'm gonna leave that one there. It was a whole other thing. That's why HR went over her head and just did what they wanted to do. I had a principal. Now this one is very interesting. I did have a principal who looked like me, and we were friends before she was my principal. She became my principal. We no longer were friends because she told me, okay, so she stopped me in the hallway one day, and she had a student with her and a parent with her. And she said, hey, she won the dance team. I said, oh, well, she can come try out in the spring because, we've already had 4 games. She said, you see what my name tag say? I said, yeah. So I said her name and I said principal. I said, you see what mine say? And she said, come to my office. I went to her office and we argued. And I told her, I don't know what your problem is. We've been friends before you were here. And so I'm not going to treat you any different, but I definitely wouldn't do what you just did and try to disrespect you in front of a parent. And she says, nobody would be more popular than me in my building. And I said, does this have anything to do with the mayor? So the backstory, now that's when I found out it had something to do with that. Backstory. This is my hometown that I'm teaching in. It's my hometown. You're not from here. You're from across the water. Everybody in this town knows who I am. The mayor stayed at my house, ate up my food with my parents when he was in high school. So he knows who I am. And she was upset because every time someone from city council or the mayor came into that building, they called me by my first name. They asked, is Juliet here today? And I come around the corner. I'm saying, send them to the room. So she could not handle the popularity. First of all, like I told her, you should be, using that to your advantage because they're in this building all the time. Then find a way to use them. Find a way to ask them for something. You talking about the mayor that would come there when the band was going to California. He donated us $10,000 of his personal money. So he would do, if I said donate to the tennis team, he had donated them $2,000 because they needed some racks or whatever. But we were friends. So all she had to do was just ask him for stuff because he was in her building. I felt like that was an opportunity that she just missed. So principals are jealous. I don't know if they think we want their jobs or whatever, but hers then was popularity.
And it's funny, we talked about that in the last episode, how sometimes the worst leaders are the ones who look like you. And it's like, I'm not checking for you, boo. I'm not checking for you. I don't want your job. If I wanted it, I would have applied for it or whatever, or went that direction. But I think we get trained that there can only be one, like the movie. Absolutely. There can only be one. And I was like, I don't want to be you. Yeah. There's room for everybody at the table, but that's just that thing where there are no seats at the table, and we think we have to fight over, the just to try to slide in, like it's a bad game of musical chairs. Like when someone moves 2 seconds to the left, somebody's trying to jump in that seat and snatch it from under them. And it's so sad that that's from our own, sometimes that is the case. I guess we can try to get to the questions. Listen, I don't even care. This is organic and it's happening the way it's happening. But we do have a question that I think I might skip around.
Okay.
Question 4. Well, you keep mentoring mentors. And I'm going to reword a question, or a question that we kind of have. Can you identify 1 or 2 music educators that impacted your decision to pursue music? And if there are any females in that list, because like you said, you just said you didn't see us. And I feel like you're at that time period where certainly wasn't a lot that I saw either.
I had no females that encouraged me to be a band director because I didn't know they existed. I thought I was a unicorn. I thought I was a unicorn. So the person that influenced me to become a band director, I only took band in 6th grade because I didn't want to learn how to cook. You had band, home economics, and choir. I didn't want to be in a choir. I didn't want to learn how to cook. So I said, hey, I'll do band because I'm just not going in the kitchen. And so I picked up the clarinet. Then it became more, I'm very competitive. It became a competition of trying to, he said everybody has to check off to get this first chair. Okay, that's a competition, right? So I'm very competitive. I was into sports. I played basketball. So I was so competitive that I just wanted to get first chair and keep it. So then first chair made me get district band. Then district band made you get all state band. I'm just like, I just want to keep the first chair. I don't care about all this other stuff. I'm just trying to keep the first chair so I can say I'm the best in the school. I ain't care about nothing else. So my high school band director kept saying, hey, just warm up the band. So it went from me warming up the band to eventually by my senior year, I thought I was the band director because I didn't know when he was there, when he was not there. Like I would do our entire concert band stuff. And he would come back and just fix whatever little stuff he had to fix. It was usually brass stuff and percussion stuff because woodwind's gonna sound good. Like I just didn't know how to do the brass stuff. So he came. We got busted one day though because I kept. I was writing passes. I was the band director, and I just happened to write passes for. I happened to write passes for some students one day, and the principal came. He called me from my class, and the principal was down there with him, and they was like, Juliet, did you write these passes? I was like, I looked at him and his face red. I said, yes. They said, he wasn't here for 2 days. How did you write the passes? See that we would have stuff. He would not be there, not call a sub because I was running the class. So I didn't know that he wasn't there. I mean, I didn't know if he was there or not. I just would run the class. And I was a senior, so I had all of his classes. I didn't have any other classes, and we got in trouble. And he said, well, I came in and I told her to write the classes because I had to leave back out, because I had to go back home because I was going to get kicked out of school. He was going to get fired. It was a big mess, but it was so funny to me. It's funny now because he comes to just about everything. I'm everything that's important to me. He comes now. He's sick and can barely walk, but he comes to everything that I'm in. So that was one. My second was Mr. Fears made me believe that I could do it because I ain't gonna talk about other directors that were at my alma mater, but there were some directors that told me that females don't need to be band directors. Mr. Fears told me, yeah. You could talk like this then. And no, I didn't take it any kind of way when he said it, but it's still funny to me now. Mr. Fears said something like, well, sometimes I can't tell she a goddamn man or a woman anyway. I'm not because of the way I look, but the way I act. He said I act like I'm a man, but just look like a woman. So I thought it was funny because he said that I was harder than any man that was in the band. So that was funny to me. But that was the second person. He gave me a lot of my confidence about what I could do because I had heard so many times that females can't be band directors because it was weird when I said that I wanted to be. You're talking about a time when we was in the music department that it was other female music majors there, but they all wanted to be middle school and elementary. I said I wanted to be high school, and they was like, yeah, you ain't gonna get no job. You ain't get no job. I mean, it was just like that kind of thing. So those were my two that influenced me. I had never seen a female until I came to Norfolk, and I met Devon Scott Smith, who was someone that looked like me, that had a middle school band that sounded so good, but I just didn't want to be a middle school band director. So, yeah,
it's crazy. Don't feel like that conversation doesn't still happen to young ladies. They're
know it does.
still saying, "Oh
Mhm.
no." I remember when I kept saying when I got to Morgan that I wanted to be a high school band director. I didn't like little kids. I still don't. I ain't gonna lie. I don't like them. They jerk me and they cry. Even my own son, he's like a walking miniature adult. We never really babied him. But it's just crazy that that's kind of the narrative still, is that, oh, y'all can't be band directors. And then there's this narrative like, if we are, we're masculine. Nah, but the same mama that would check you, like and some to hear from, the men is crazy to me, especially when they come from a single parent household and they say their mother didn't play. I was like, that's the same energy. That's our ancestors. That's the strength of our ancestors. We not playing with nobody, whether you're a woman or a man in Black family. At least in my day, I ain't gonna talk about what we see right now, but we don't play those games. It's funny that you thought you were the band director. I think
I did.
most band directors of, like, if you grow up and you actually follow through on it, it started in the band room, writing passes, running rehearsal.
You could not tell me I wasn't the band director until that day I almost got kicked out of school. Now that was the funniest thing. We can laugh about it now, but you could not tell me during that time I was not the band director. If I wouldn't have ever got caught then, I still would be thinking I'm the band director.
But I bet that experience, like when you did get your own band, you just felt like you were at home. I bet that experience prepared you so well.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, my first band competition, my first job was a high school at Hertford County High School in Ahoskie, North Carolina. So I go to a band competition. I don't know he's there. My band performs. Now I'm just like, oh man, you guys did so good. I'm so excited. He comes over and he tells my band how well they did. And I'm like, oh my God, he's still here. I mean, I don't know. It was just it was an amazing feeling. Cause I call him I've never called anybody my other father but him.
I don't know anybody whose band director, if it was a male, isn't like dad. Like,
right.
It's just, they're like dad, or your music teacher, or even if you're not. I feel like everybody has somebody in education, if they are an educator, that kind of shaped them into wanting to go that direction and kind of believing in themselves and feeling like you can do it. And even if you didn't have a strong support base, they tend to cover those bases well. How do you feel about representation in the field, since this keeps coming up? And we can obviously say how it was in the past, but how do you feel like it is today?
Not much has changed other than I see more middle school. I see a few more high school band directors that look like me, or maybe they don't look like me. They may be a little lighter than me sometimes, but they're still female. I see a little more in the high school positions, but it depends on the state. Because Virginia, I still don't see that many. North Carolina, I still don't see that many. And those are two states that I'm in all the time. But it seems like Georgia is doing pretty good. But for collegiate, I feel bad. I don't feel bad. I feel like I wish we could get more women to want to be college band directors and actually go out for the interview, just go out on the limb. So I'm trying to speak as much as I can, because when I got here, I'm looking at, when I first got to this position 7 years ago, it was 5 African-American head director bands for HBCUs. Now there are 3. And I'm just like, wow, we got like over 100, well, right at 100 HBCUs, or maybe 101, depending on the day. But that's sad. I really want it to be more. But again, I feel like it's the mentorship. The more I do research on, my title is about experiences of female band directors, and I took out the word African American because it's not enough big enough pool for me to choose from. So female band directors, their careers and opportunities, successes. And part of it in there, I looked at the mentorship that led to their career opportunities or their career paths. And what I'm finding out is that a lot of them, because if they don't see anyone that look like them, they're not going to pursue it. They don't know if it's possible. They don't know if that's a thing. I like when I go to schools and people think that I'm the dance coordinator. First of all, my body ain't that good to be dance coordinator, but I'll go for it. Then, they just think I'm anybody other than the band director. And sometimes when they do that, like, we'll go places, and if people walk up to the assistant director and start talking like he the band director, I let them talk. I don't say a word. I'll even walk away sometimes. Or if someone walk up to me and say, I'm looking for the band director. I said, what you need? They say, if it's a problem, I say, he over there. Because, you're looking for a man anyway. You're not looking for me. So, I figure I'll send you to a man. Just go over there. I just point over there. I don't know who's standing over there. Sometimes it might be with me. They might not be with me. I don't know. But I really think it comes on this mentorship that if we find people that look like them, but we have to stop being jealous of each other. So we can't see somebody like, okay, Krystal ain't jealous of me because I'm a college band director, because she worked at a college too. So she ain't jealous of me. Y'all ain't jealous of me because I'm a head band director. But I might be on another panel, but she can't be up here no more because she a head band director and I ain't got time for that. She gonna think she better than us. I don't think I'm better. I enjoy what I do. I'll help you right on along. You can be my assistant, and you can have this job as soon as I'm finished with it. But I have goals to achieve before I can leave. So it is what it is.
I don't understand why people don't. Well, some people, not everybody. I don't understand why people don't realize. Some people don't realize that there's enough sunshine out here for all of us to soak up.
Absolutely.
There's enough sunlight for us all to bask in the light. And I love when I have people who, where I teach locally, I love when one of the persons in the community will reach out to me and ask me, well, how did you do X, Y, and Z?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me tell you how I did X, Y, and Z. And then I go out and later on, and I'll see them doing the thing that they asked me about. There's no patent on it. There's no copyright on it. She's going to do it her way with that thing. And I'm going to do it my way with that thing. People are still going to be learning music at the end of the day. And I don't see what the big deal is. Folks got to get out of that, whatever that is. I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Krystal, remember that we was on a panel together and they kept saying that I think it was you that said it, how you going to get at the table if, you ain't invited. No, you said you don't need to be invited to the table. Just take a seat. Something like that. I can't remember, but we was talking about the table.
Yeah, like, and it's funny. There's so many different reasons, I think, why women don't do it. I think we touched on a few. Children and wanting a family, and someone saying that can't happen, or making it so damn hard that if you do have a family and another sister see you going through that, believe it or not, as much as people love to say Black women like confrontation, no, we don't. We are not running into fires like, oh, hell. I'm going to tell you what we really do. We like, oh, hell no, I don't even want to be bothered. And so we remove ourselves from the table or even knocking on the door, like you said. And if we don't have a mentor saying you can't do it, this is how you should navigate it. This is how you can do it. And much love to, the men that support us. But sometimes they don't really know how to either from our perspective, or there's this fear that someone's going to say something to them about our interactions. It must be sexual. And I feel bad for the men that do get behind, sisters in the field, because some of them really want to help, but they just afraid. They're afraid, so-and-so see us coming out the office at 9 o'clock, like sometimes you have to come out the office 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the field. But if the table is, if the table's not set for us, who wants to sit at it?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't want to sit at a table where they got raisins in a potato salad. You saying, come on, join us. I'm not.
Not the raisins.
I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna go over
That
here
ain't
and
my
build my
table.
own table. That ain't my table. That table,
Well,
my
let me
grandma
tell you.
ain't make that table.
Let me tell you, you said 11 o'clock. So since I've been writing this dissertation, sometimes I don't leave the North. Now I live in Virginia, so that's an hour drive. And sometimes I don't leave before 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I said, I'm glad I got a husband that's also that was in the band, raised in the band world. Only thing I require him to do, keep his phone on till I get home, make sure I get home safely. But 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm leaving. And then if I got something to do the next morning, I can't do work at home. Work at home, I'll be looking at TV. I'll be on binge watch the whole thing if it got to start the assignment. So I got to do my work at school. But for some reason, my brain can work on the weekend. I can do work at home. It's just weekday. I'm going to look at everything that I can look at on the TV and no work will get done. So 1, 2 o'clock it is.
I'm laughing because I work from home. I work from home. My entire studio is online. And every now and then a student will say, well, when are we going back to in-person lessons? And I'm like, never. We'll never return to in-person lessons. I don't have to deal with you picking boogers at my keyboard. I don't have to deal with your little stinky behind farts. I don't have none of that. We are never going back to in-person lessons. So we're going to remain online for the foreseeable future. And it's super convenient for me. If my lesson starts at 11, I ain't gonna front. I'm a professional procrastinator. I may just be walking upstairs at 11 or 10:58. I'm on. And that's because I was probably watching that show or series, So I mean, I get it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Julia, I have a question. So you said earlier about how there's just not enough. Well, there's not enough women doing this yet. We're working on it though, right?
Right.
But as far as women directors in HBCUs, I think Hazel commented that there's 107 HBCUs, and what you said, like three women.
There's only 3 women head band directors. Now, I think everybody's trying to genderify everything since all of the Black Lives Matter and the all women Me Too movement. So now they're trying to, let's sprinkle one woman here, sprinkle one woman there. And, that's cool because you're supplying some jobs, but they won't put us in charge though. We're going to do the work like we are in charge, but we ain't in charge.
Well, right. And that's what I was going to ask you is like, do you think, why do you think that specifically, like among HBCUs, there's so few women directors? Little plug for myself. I graduate next year, just so y'all know, keep your eyes open.
The few presidents that I've asked and the few papers, the dissertations that I've read, women don't apply for them. And if they do apply, they'll say something. I think, I'm going to tell you how slick interviews are. So college interviews are very slick. They say, tell me a little bit about yourself. They know every woman's going to tell about their family. I got 2 kids and a husband. I got 5 kids and a husband. Or I got 5 kids, no husband. We're going to tell about ourselves in that thing. I think if we ain't told them we got no kid, we ain't told them we got nothing. I graduated, I came, I saw, and I conquered. Let's tell them that. And what happens then? Men don't tell them that I got 3 kids and divorced 2 times. They don't tell them that. But when we say that, because you say, tell us about ourselves, women, we're personal people. We want to get personal. And I think that sometimes the interview, we may shoot ourselves in the foot. I'm not saying hide what we do, but I am saying that, okay, so I'm going to get on the same topic that I get on with some of my other friends. When we say stuff, I know you say, well, I should be able to say what I want to say. And you're going to still be sitting right there, not at the table. Because you say you want to be at the table, then you got to do what you got to do to get to the table. When you get to the table, then take that wig off, be natural. wear your Crocs, whatever you want to wear, but you ain't at the table yet. You can't even get in the door. What ain't it a song that say something about how you gonna enjoy the club you can't even get in the door or something like that? I don't know. You look through the windows. I don't know. It's something. It's some saying that people say. Somebody gonna write it in the chat in a minute. I know they are. But you know what I'm saying? How you gonna enjoy the party? You can't even get in. Something like that. It's something that go like that. I just don't know what it is. That's my old age kick in sometime. I'm gonna claim it.
So all right, so I'm gonna call you when it's time for me to interview.
Yeah. Somebody just called me. Somebody sent me a message, and because I think they're good to interview for a position that I soon as they asked me some questions, I already knew what position they were going to apply for, and I think they'll be perfect for it. And so I sent her everything that I did for mine. Oh, I'm gonna say it up here because anybody that want to apply. When you go into these college interviews, okay, so you know they're gonna ask you a bunch of questions. If you were already a high school band director, you already got all the answers. College ain't nothing but a bigger high school. It's a bigger high school. You already got a handbook. Put that handbook in there, show them the one that you had for the high school, and show them how you would make it fit for that college. These things I did. I came in there with a big portfolio. Every trophy you ever got, if you got a trophy for the nose picking parade, put that trophy up there and let them see you got that trophy. But by the time I took my list in there, they was like, you want all these trophies? They're not gonna look to see what the trophy's for. So the list that I took in there over my 10 years being at Norcom, it showed that I had 935 trophies. All trophies I do, but some of them may be like, we went to Charles Peak parade. We got a trophy for being at Charles Peak parade. It don't matter. It's a trophy. My kids are proud of it. Put that in there. Then you make a list of any itinerary that you had because you were ready to go to work. Y'all were ready to go on a trip. Put that itinerary in there. They want to see how organized you are. They want to see if you can manage to write out a detailed schedule of what you're going to do. You leave the bus leaving at 9:05, 9:03. We're going to stop for gas. You know, whatever. All of that up there. That's important. They want to see how you manage your money. Who booked the hotels? Did you book it? Did your boosters book it? Write all of that in there. Have all that stuff already and just grab that portfolio and go to that interview, because every question they ask you, they're going to say, so how would you do a rehearsal? Oh, well, right here, I have a rehearsal schedule that I would use if I was in concert band. You want concert band or marching band? Or you want jazz band? You already got it in that portfolio. You just turn to that page. That's all I did. And they were so impressed because I had all this stuff with me. Now, how did I know to take it? I didn't know what I was preparing for. I had no idea what I was preparing for, but I said, I'm going to take everything I do because I don't know what to take.
Yeah, I liken that to, we call it an I Love Me book. So this is from when I was in the military, every time you're going up for promotions, you have to present your packet, well, depending on your rank. And in that packet, it must include like all the things that you've done that warrant you being awarded the next rank. And it's an I Love Me book where you just compile all the things that we commonly do, all the things that we routinely do, all the things that it doesn't take us 2 seconds to think about doing. Just start notating it as you're doing it or right after you've done it. And that way you've gotten this bulk of information to present and say, well, I can do this. Let me show you. Make it easier for yourself for when that time comes. So when we were talking about what representation looks like for us, I know that Corey Bostic was the first female band drum major for college, for the Marching 100. And I say that because my daughter just walked through here with a FAMU t-shirt on, mommy's alma mater. And what can we do for where we serve? What can we do for where we serve as far as putting young ladies in positions of leadership so that they can see that, if we start you here, if you're Woodwind's chair, or if you're, y'all know I ain't all familiar with all the band because I'm mostly piano and voice, but the titles that are assigned to people who are in positions of leadership at the band level, how do we keep making sure that we see our young ladies represented in those populations?
Stop having favorites. Band directors have favorites, and people in my band will tell you, it doesn't matter if I was your mama childhood friend, if you my child, I don't do favorites, but we got to stop having favorites, because sometimes we'll put people in positions because we knew their mama, or we'll put people in positions because we trust them because they in my office all the time, Well, stop doing that. If someone is great at a position, see, I don't, it's hard to say women in this particular situation when it comes to leadership, because I don't look at gender when it comes to that. If you're a strong leader, you're a strong leader. Now, what I am trying to teach my ladies in my band is that I need them to have confidence that they're a leader regardless, because their confidence levels are so low when they get against men that are in their same positions that they're afraid to speak up. They're afraid to show that they could be a good leader. So I told them, I said, well, you can't be a leader. You can't be a section leader in my band if I can't even get you to portray helping someone in your section because you're afraid that the guy next to you gonna help him too, and he may do a better job. Stop doing that. Push them to do stuff, but don't embarrass them. Like, girls, we sensitive. So if we know that we got a good leader in a section, sometimes we'll do something like, Kathy, come on. You know how to do it, but Kathy is embarrassed right now. Kathy is very quiet. Kathy don't want to do this right now. We know that Kathy got it. So what you do is you get Kathy to start coming to your office. Kathy, can you do me a favor? Take this note down. I need you to start doing this. I have one in the band that, when I tell you, she is amazing at secretarial stuff. The first year there, she was trying to please everyone, but she's a leader and she didn't know she's a leader. She don't want any leadership roles because she's afraid. So I have her showing what she can do. I tell everybody, you got to listen to what she say, because she's the next one in charge after me. So if I send a memo out, it goes through her. I just tell her what I need to do. But we have to stop having favorites in the band room. So if you see a female, we can't, I want to say just pick the females and just make them stronger, but we can't do that. We can't build a female. I don't want to say we can't build them up, but we can build their confidence up with other things to make them believe. They have to believe first that they're a leader. So that's the best I can describe it, I guess.
Confidence is a big one too. Like when I was in undergrad, I was at Savannah State, and so Alzie Walker was my band director there. And Alzie Walker at at Savannah State.
He passed away now, right?
Yeah, he passed away a couple of years ago.
He was the one that I said that didn't want me to be no band director, but okay.
Really? That's interesting, because like I think maybe you changed him then, because by the time he got to Savannah State, he was all for it. I was section leader, and it was me, and I was like a freshman. Well, I didn't want to do my freshman year, but sophomore year, and then it was me and like a bunch of men. I played trumpet, so it was me, and then like the rest of my section was guys, and I was section leader, and they were all like bigger than me, older than me, and I was just like, and, they were kind of being mean to me because I'm just this little, second year college student, younger than them, this chick. And I used to like just be crying because like they were just so mean. And then he pulled me aside and just gave me that talk, like, no, you can play, you can play better than them, and you just need to go out there and just, he said, you need to go out there and be the biggest that that you need to be. And I kind of followed his advice, and honestly, those dudes now, they're like my brothers. They will go like, they will ride for me like, since forever. But he definitely gave me that you need to have confidence talk. I'm gonna attribute that to you then, since he was that guy. Like, by the time he got to us, he was like too ready to push me out there into band directing land.
Yeah, he was the one. Yeah, he was the one.
It's interesting, depending on the director, there's always one of us that changes all the stereotypes they might be holding on to. And I'm not going to say I was that for my band directors, but I was very strong. It was very hard to like sit me down to this date. And I feel like that comes across maybe personality wise, even in the internet and social media. It's like I was very hard to tell no, because my mother ingrained that. I think we got a problem that young ladies are groomed to be passive. And so they come to these places where they should be the leader, but that I'm raising ladies. Sometimes it's a bad connotation. I'm raising you to be quiet. Even the high school I just left, all girls, the motto for 179 years is quiet dignity. What does that really instill in a school of 1,200 Black and brown girls? 1200, quiet dignity. There's nothing quiet about being a band director.
No.
There's a lot of dignity in it, but when we raise, and some of women, we do it to our daughters, and men do it to their daughters too, out of what they call being a good father. Sometimes they're not raising a strong woman. You know, and I've had this argument with even some of my fraternity brothers that, oh, my daughter's never gonna ride the bus. She's not gonna be. I said, so she won't know how to navigate life when she runs into that. And I think that's what we get. We get young ladies who don't know how to navigate difficult situations and pressure, because everybody, in protecting them, they have actually trained them not to be what they need to be, just to be a functioning adult, let alone a leader or someone who wants to take the helm of something. And it's kind of becomes, you making her hard. She's not making her hard. We're making her responsible and diligent, and all the qualities that success comes with these words. And I just think we groom them that way. I think we just hack at them until by the time they become an adult, whereas that confidence might have been there, it's now just been chipped away until there's nothing left. And now you have to make a decision. Am I going to invest time trying to build this child up, or I got these boys over here that want to jump on and do it? And to me, it's a difficult balance. I think, like you said, it can't be just, let's just throw girls in fire, because developmentally we have our differences. You know, we are a little more sensitive. We don't like be hollered at sometimes, and that's just, it is what it is. But I also think that if we were better groomed, we probably get handled more. Like I was the only girl music major for a while that wanted to be a band director in my cohort at Morgan. I was it for a couple of years. And, you know, I remember hearing guys like, oh, you're not going to be a high school band director. I was like, oh, I'm about to be the first one you see. And I had to carry that. But that's because I was raised that way. Whereas I saw other students, and I have friends who they say their experience was, no, you can't do that. You might as well just be grateful if you get a job, you know, being high school. There's nothing wrong with middle school, and there's nothing wrong with it if that's what you want.
Right.
That's going to lead us to the last question, because it's 7:04, and Lia got all that schoolwork. I know you got to start your day. I'm praying for you, Lia, because I ain't got it. I like Netflix too much, Juliet. I like it.
How close are you, Lia?
I have one more year, so May 2023.
So you're writing?
Well, I am not yet. I have my topic, and I'm like in the little, you know, integral stages of it. This work I have to do now. Like I'm in my last coursework class, so working on the project and, you know, getting ready, thinking about what I'm going to do for my lecture recital and things like that.
I am writing. I'm trying to finish this month so I could actually defend my prospectus. And I just asked Carrie to be on my panel for my committee. So just got my committee to complete.
Right. So you're you're like
that close.
Oh, that's so exciting. I'm excited.
That close and want to quit. That's why I feel like I'm being hazed.
No. Make sure you let everybody know when your defense is, if it'll be
maybe.
Maybe. No, I will. Something that I noticed, I just kind of want to like leave this for the end though. I really do enjoy this community that we're building, especially like, you know, amongst like Black band directors. Like the number of dissertation defenses that I've been like kind of popping in on, you know, just to kind of support. And there are like so many people there, you know, just there willing to, you know, support. Whereas, you know, on the other end of it, you don't really see that level of support, community support as much. And I'm really loving the way that we are all, we're fighting less, you know, some people still have jealousy issues, but we're working on that, you know. But I love how we're all coming together for one another. That makes me really happy. and a little
And
emotional, but I kind of love
I
it.
feel like it took a long time for our community to do so, because to your surprise, they have a lot of closed door sessions.
Mhm.
Um, and for some reason, I don't know what happened. I did one um conference or something. I was on a panel because I was from North Carolina. They needed a female from North Carolina, and I was on the panel as a band director. But after that, I ended up being in all these rooms that I'm the only one, and I'm not mad at it at all. I'm not mad at it at all. I like being in there. I like the shock factor of some of the things I may say, like their topics are always very interesting to me, because they don't know how to include, they careful with their words. They don't know how to include, I'm saying, they don't know how to include Black people in their teaching. And I said, you don't just teach us. Stop focusing on the fact that we're Black. So, yeah. So they've had a lot of meetings, Leah, just closed doors. We not invited. So we don't know about their meetings. We not invited to the meetings.
Got you.
But that's how they end up being so successful and get further than us and quicker, the women included, because they're taking their women, or they're giving their women some crumbs. And over here, our men are fighting each other. And so they don't have time to give us any crumbs if they fighting each other.
Mhm.
Over there, they got their doors closed, and they're going to let one woman in at a time. So every few years, one woman get invited. And she got to be quiet. Don't tell the rest of the women until we ready to bring someone in. So,
Woo, child, that fighting, and some of our men are fighting us, and we like, what? And there's such a bogus narrative about Black women achievement right now that every time it comes up, and this has been, conversations in my house and conversations with my fraternity brothers, this idea that we was handed more. Nah, we just fight like hell. Like if someone wanted to jump you, let's say they were 3 different gangs and they've all decided that they want to kick your ass. You gonna fight like hell because nobody, you can't look in a corner any direction to find help. And I've heard far too many times from some of our own brothers that we get given more opportunities than them. And I'm like, nah, when we sit at those tables, we're still getting our butt kicked. We're
absolutely.
getting our butt kicked with microaggressions, and they just assume that we're not going to be as verbal as our male counterparts. And it's not a good reason sometimes why they think we should sit at the table. Sometimes it's because they think I can beat them up and no one's going to come to their rescue. They don't have a team of people that's going to fight on their behalf. So I hear that narrative from all different perspectives. Oh, y'all get more positions. I was like, if I got 3 degrees, I sure as hell better have more positions and opportunity than you with your one. I'm sorry, I don't care if you think college makes you smarter or not. Just honor the work and time. Someone had to burn the midnight oil like you two to get that degree, honor the degree.
Absolutely.
And we often watch male counterparts with less credentials get pushed all the way to the top. I was trying not to cuss. If another motherfucker
That
tell
one
me,
right there.
tell me that I have to have a doctorate to get a college position, I'm probably going to flip out. You are lying to you and me. We all know that if we look at that, we are less than 1% of college HBCU band directors, less than 1%. I actually did the math. It's actually 0.02. How we get more positions? What kind of math you mathing where we ain't even 10%? I know all the college band directors. That's the fact that I can say I know them all. That's already shocking. So it's unfortunately, it's going to be very hard to push more women into this, Black women especially, because we do go into it feeling like there's not one soul in our corner. Even if I get it over my brother, instead of him clapping for me, he going to be talking about who I slept with.
Or saying that you stole his job, been there, done that.
And It sounds like the South Park. They took our jobs. Like, we ain't take nothing if you ain't apply.
Jobs.
You didn't even apply. But it's that goalpost moving. Someone said in the chat that, we now have to open the doors for us. Diary of a Lady Band Director was me trying to open the door for us. I love my dance instructors and auxiliary guards because I can't dance, and I love it because it takes pressure off of me as a band director. But let me tell you, I looked at all of these podcasts about band. I sat home one day and I said, they only invite us if we are not the head or some special segment. And, Juliet, you're invited to this open table. And I like to say the table's open, not just for women, but it's open for us because there's room. There's room. But what I'm a guard with my heart on this podcast, what you're not about to do is tell us that we owe it to another group to make the platform about them. We kind of talk in general about us, period, anyway. But I think this is the only one.
Yeah.
Moving the goalpost. So that leads me to our final question. If you knew what you know now back then, what kind of advice would you give other people going into the field, in the field? What's your last words to us?
If I knew back then what I know now, I say go for it. Like, I remember I said that I left high school to go to middle school to have kids and get married. I would say we can do whatever we need to do. I think that we are resilient. I think that we are just inspiring. I think that we just got so much going for ourselves that we can do that. I don't think that we have to alter our plans in life, alter our goals in life to fit what is it that's around us? Not the circumstances. I can't even get my word right. The environment to fit what people want to see. We don't have to change what we want to do just to fit in, to fit the narrative of what people think should be a female band director. Or we just don't have to change to fit in. So that's the only thing I would change. Like, I don't know. I would tell more women to go for it. Like, there are some very good women out here that should be college band directors, that should go for it and not stop at middle school, not stop at high school. Go for that job. You can't. They can say one or two words, yes or no. You got the job or you don't. Nothing else. Anything else they say, you can sue and then you can own the school. But they can say those two things only, and I think we should start going for it more.
I love that. It's great.
I receive it. I'm gonna keep applying. I'm gonna put out there. I've applied, and I've heard people. The one I keep hearing is, "Oh, go get a doctorate, and then we'll consider you." And I'm like, I have 15 years experience.
Now, when you said that, it depends on where you are.
Absolutely.
There are some systems, like we're in the UNC system, so now in the UNC system, they're trying to make it where all head directors have to have a doctorate. Now they're giving us some time. Now, because I heard that was coming down the pipeline when I first got this job, I immediately went and enrolled. Because it was already told that, hey, I'm gonna tell you now, in the UNC system, this is coming down the line that they want everybody, unless you're an adjunct, to have a doctorate in the UNC system. And I'm pretty sure there are some others that are under larger systems that are either like that or gonna be like that. So if they a private school, they lying. You just need a bachelor's. Go get your bachelor's, you good. No, I'm just joking. But maybe a master's probably.
I be seeing who they hire.
Me too. That's why I said that bachelor's in there like that. So
you sure even about that, honey?
But
they have a bachelor's.
It ain't about me. What the guy say on his YouTube channel? If it ain't about me, then let's kiki.
Well, I've enjoyed you. Thank you. Yeah, I told you you could come back anytime. You can. We always have, we try to offer a mic up opportunity. Come in, mic up, and speak your ish, because we need that frankness, and we need to see more of us doing it and speaking on things that people may not just know about. They may be ignorant about it, and we here to clear some of that all up and share and inform from different perspectives and with respect. And it's always okay to disagree, but if you're going to disagree, at least come to the table with some meat. Don't just come up here with talk about what this is how I feel. Like come to the table with your proof.
Right. And I appreciate it. I'm gonna answer Lauren, you're right. Not all positions in the UNC system offer tenure until you get the doctorate though. As long as you don't have your doctorate, you can't even fight the argument. But in the UNC system, once you get your doctorate, you can fight the argument about your you can renegotiate that. So anybody in the UNC system that is a head band director that does not have that tenure yet, they can renegotiate with human resources and their provost to go there, because I've already started the track to get mine done. So yeah, you just have to renegotiate. My provost told me that they don't offer it to you if you don't have the doctorate. But once you get the doctorate, you can talk about it, because they don't want you to leave unless they might not talk about it if they want you to leave. But if they don't want you to leave, they will allow you to sit down and have the conversation.
That's the good nuggets we need. And that's a good way to end. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. This was fun. You're welcome.
We just found a new mentee. Hi, Juliet.
Please hit me up anytime.
I'm gonna go ahead and apply to Maryland. Oh gosh.
That something else hit no. That's civil. Leave that civil. Leave alone.
There's a lot of openings happening. Yep, I've been peeping the platform. There's some openings. Okay, I hear you, sis. All right. Thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in tonight to the Diary of a Lady Band Director, episode 4, part 2, which technically is, I guess, episode 5. But if you haven't already, hit that like, share, subscribe. Just pass the word around, because this is good conversation for all people at the table. Even if your table ain't the same as ours, we all do the same thing at the table. We eat, don't we? So there was some nuggets. And thank you. And tune in next week. Same, I was going to say same bat time, same bat channel, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be here, and we want you to be here with us. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Night.